es mi Dios, mi escudo y defensor, Salvador que libra hoy, es mi Dios, es mi Dios. El Señor me premia por mi conducta y mi valor. Es mi Dios, es mi Dios. Te alabaré, Señor. Te alabaré, Señor. El Señor es mi bastión, mi baluarte y salvación, es mi Dios, es mi Dios, mi escudo y defensor, Salvador que libra hoy, es mi Dios, es mi Dios. El Señor me premia por mi conducta y mi valor, es mi Dios, es mi Dios. Te alabaré, Señor. Te alabaré, Señor.
Well, again, everybody, and welcome to Drink Podcast of Joy here on this lovely Wednesday. My goodness, Hump Day is here. How are you guys? Welcome to the Vida Gozo Studios here in Long Beach, California. My name is David Trigg, and I have the privilege of being a pastor of a beautiful church here in Bellflower, 9603 Belmont Street. I invite you to come every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. And tonight, especially, we're having an awesome night for families at 5:30 this evening Pacific. Here Monday through Friday on this program, The David Trigg Show, talking to you about the themes that matter to you most. And today I have a very special episode where I want to talk to you about a new podcast that I'm starting today called Never Quit. And you can go to lifeofgospel.com/neverquit so that you can sign up for this awesome brand new podcast. And I want to tell you now for the next few minutes what the podcast is about, kind of how it started, and why I think that this is a podcast that, especially these days, is a must for you as a young man, as a woman, as a man, as a family person, someone who's in leadership, whether it's in the nonprofit or the church world, and most of all, someone who really wants to be honest about our struggles. Do you realize how many people are going through similar things that you are going through and yet hide it from everyone else? So I want to welcome you here to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Periscope Live. How are you guys? Again, I'm so excited to be here with you, and I want to just welcome you from wherever you may be, inviting you, as I said, to this brand new podcast that I'm going to do that's going to be audio. So this is obviously a video stream live here from the Gozo Studios in Long Beach, California, in the LA area here in California. But I also have an audio podcast, in other words, just audio, which is easier. You can just listen to that on a run. You don't have to watch a screen. You can just listen to it in the car while you're maybe putting the kids to bed, or maybe late at night. You want to just unwind listening to some awesome life skills. So this is a podcast for you. And it's a brand new one. As I said, it's called lifeofgozo.com/neverquit. So I want to tell you why this podcast is first so personal, and then how I believe it's going to help many people to not quit. So a brief story, first of all. About a couple of weeks ago, I had a friend. He called me and he's like, Trig, man, I love what you're doing online. Can you help me to not quit in my own life? He said, I see you working out. I see you leading your church and loving your wife and all of the stuff that you're doing. And he said, I can tell that even though when it's hard, you never quit. So can you help me? So we got on the phone. We talked for an hour. We have some appointments coming up. And long story short, I'm going to be helping my friend as a leader, as a husband, as a man who loves his wife and his family, who's wanting to make a difference in the world, to not quit, and to how to make sense of all the changes that he's going through. And so that's kind of in some ways how the genesis of this began, or the genesis of this. But now personally, when my friend said that to me, I also began to think about my own not quitting and my own spirit of never quitting. And I began to think, there are a lot of things that I have always wanted to be and have always, hoped for in life, things that I want to succeed at and things that I want to see happen in my life. And I thought, I never have really thought of myself as someone who never quits. But yet, because here's why. Because someone who never quits, obviously it's assumed of them that they have had reason to quit. And maybe the pride or the ego in me wanted to say, well, why would I have wanted to quit? Everything has been perfect. But that's the point. It hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been easy. I have wanted to quit. And yet, I have persevered. In what areas? Well, these are the 2-3 areas that I'm going to talk about on the podcast. First, in the area of my own dreams. The things that I want to accomplish in my life. Now, what dreams are those? Well, for me, obviously, they first start with my own personal mental health. Wanting to always be, as I say all the time, a man of joy, a man of gozo. Although my psychology, my biology, my circumstances would want to tell me otherwise. So I have never quit in the area of giving in to the worst version of myself, which is one word: insecurity. And yet I continue to persevere and never quit or give in to insecurity or to fear or feelings of self-worth. Because what? I have a brand new thing I want to show you. I am a winner. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I got this recently because I am a winner. You are enough. And I have here my Gozo friend, my Gozo cup, all these things. You think, why does this guy do all this crazy stuff? Why does he wear all these rings and all these Gozo pulseras and Gozo gorros, all this craziness? It's because that has come out of my commitment to never quit and give in to what would be so easy for me, which would be to give in to insecurity. Number 2 is in the area of leadership or church ministry or anything dealing with serving others, and really specifically never quitting in my dream to be an entrepreneur, a person who helps other people in crisis. So when you, like many people, are out there serving people that are in need, it's tough, right? You get burnt out. You question yourself so many times. You wonder, do I even know what the heck I'm doing? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Because when you're serving people that are in need, whether it's a nonprofit, a church, in my case, a church restart, whatever it may be, you want to give up because it's hard. I have faced those things, not just now, but I have faced those things year after year. Because why? Because God has called me to put myself in situations that are difficult. And I keep running away from things that are easy. It's almost like I have pain. I want to have pain. I want to be around things that are difficult. That's the craziness that God has called me to be about. And so in this new podcast called Never Quit, I want to talk to you about how to never quit in your pursuit of that which you long for. It could be that you want to be an amazing leader in the church or in the nonprofit world. It might be something more personal, like in your own life, as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner. You want to have the strength that you need in your soul to never give up. And that's why I'm going to call this podcast Never Quit. You can go to lifeofgoso.com. I got to change this graphic up here. lifeofgoso.com/never quit. And then lastly, this third area, which I think is so real. So the first one is mental health. The second one is professional in many ways. And the third one is love. How never to give up on love. How never to quit in the area of relationships. I'm talking about maybe if you're a young married person, how not to give up when you face trials in your young married life, or when that first child comes in, or when you face financial problems, how never to quit. Maybe you're someone who, like me, you and your wife, you and your husband have now teens. I equate having teens at the same level of crazy hard as having that first or second child. I don't know what's next. And maybe there's something that is equally as hard, but those two, man. And yet, my wife and I are an example, broken example, a graceful example of never quitting, of 21 years of persevering in our relationship, in our union, in our intimacy, sexually, financially, doing the dishes and division of labor, all of these things that are the real deal about marriage, as well as raising kids. And how do you pay the bills? How do you establish your own gifts and your own talents in a relationship? Being that you can't just do things that make you happy anymore. You have to now compromise and become one, as the Bible says, right? So those are the three areas that I'm pumped about sharing with you over the next few months, and hopefully this will go on for a long time on this brand new podcast that I'm starting today, that I'm actually going to record in just a few minutes. I've actually begun already the process. I just got back from a retreat praying, and oh my goodness, I felt like God was just talking to me in such amazing ways. And now I am excited to share these things with you. It's just that simple. I feel like so many things on this retreat came together, especially in the area. This first one that I'm going to record here just shortly is talking about how not to be afraid of feedback. And I can't wait to tell you all of the insights that I have learned that came in many ways together or into kind of into clarity for me just over the last few days here in the area, as I said, of feedback. Because if you deal like I have with issues of fear and of insecurity, which again, this is hard for me to talk about. And I want to tell you more about that in the podcast. You can go to lifeofgoso.com/never quit. lifeofgoso.com/never quit. You can sign up there, just enter your email, and I will send you every day or every time I record this. I'll probably try to do it, mostly daily. You can get this podcast. You can just sign up there. And I want to talk to you about why feedback has been so difficult for me, why I have resisted it for so long, and how yet here's what I want to share with you. How feedback is, I am convinced, the key to my success. And so I can't wait to tell you all about my journey in this, all about what God is doing in my life, and most of all, what God can do in your life. Now, here's something that I also want to do that came, again, it kind of it crystallized for me over the last few days. This is about a relationship. This is not about just me giving you content and you liking it or not, or listening to it or not, or this is really about a relationship. I need you. There's no amount of great insights that I can get from heaven that will ever replace our relationship with you, my friend. Whether you are on Facebook, whether I know you in person, maybe you're on YouTube, you're a virtual friend, whoever you are, maybe you're on my email list. It's about 35, 40 people there. Thank you for being there and so loyal and faithful. I've had thousands of listeners to my podcast, but I deleted all of that. I had about 5,000 listeners, but I deleted all of that because I don't want just a bunch of numbers. I want actually people that I can build a tribe with and that can relate to what I'm doing. So the second thing that I want to ask you is, I want you to, when you get this email, so go to lifeofgospel.com/never quit. I know this says daily devotions, but you can just write it down. lifeofgospel.com/never quit. Don't go there yet. It's not up yet, but it'll be up there in a few minutes. You can sign up. But here's my point. When you get that email that says, thank you for being here, and here's the first episode, I want you to give me some feedback. You might be someone that I know. You might be my neighbor. You might be my friend from church. It doesn't matter who you are. You might be the only one at first who sends me an email back. It doesn't matter. But what I want to know is, what are the topics that you need to hear about? What are the things from what you've seen in my life that you want to know more about? Now, here's some ideas. Obviously, we can talk about mental health and my own kind of life coaching process and helping you to overcome your own fears. So that could be one thing. Another thing could be leadership in the church and the things of how do you work together? How do you balance your life? How do you have a work-life balance? Is there such a thing? Number 3, it could be more in the areas I said of love and relationship. Are there things there that you want to learn from me? And if so, what are the questions that you have? Or here's another thing. Are there guests? Maybe my wife. Wouldn't that be great to have my wife here with me one of these days? Are there people or guests that you would like for me to interview? Number 4, maybe this is more on the technical side. Do you like more of the media side of things? And do you want to know more about kind of how I do all of this? Maybe you're that person. There's a lot of things, but I don't want to focus on 10 things. I want to focus on just 1 or 2. So what I would love is for you to give me some feedback, speaking of feedback, on what do you want? What are the questions that you specifically are dealing with? You may say, well, Trig, you already know my life. You know who I am. Well, that doesn't matter, because what I need is to build a relationship with you. What I want is to build that rapport so that, and here's the fun thing for you. You are on the ground floor of this new segment and this new leaf as we enter 2017. So your input is going to matter tremendously on how I shape this new program. Right now, I'm going to do it mostly in English, but we'll see what happens in terms of Spanish. But I want to do this because I feel like God has something in me that needs to come out. And like my friend said at the beginning, Trig, I see you online and you never quit. No matter what weight problems you're dealing with or financial problems or emotional stuff, you never quit. And guess what? I'm happy to be that person. I'm no longer afraid to be the never quit person or thinking that sounds less than the successful person. It doesn't matter to me. To me, to never quit is my success story, because from where I've come from, to not quit and to have the kind of strength and courage and joy and gozo that I have And yes, some success, as the world may see it, not that it even matters to me anymore, is something that I'm thankful for and that I want to share with you. So again, go to lifeofghosted.com/neverquit. Even though this says daily devotions, I'm going to change that to never quit. This is still going to go on, but I'm going to just adapt the content some. Sign up. And here's another thing. Maybe here's one last thing. Let's build this community through social media. Follow my Snapchat so you can hear some of the quotes that I'm going to be putting out there on Instagram, Snapchat, on Twitter. Because this thing of never quitting, this is not just a once a week message. This is something that you and I need to dwell on daily, if not second by second, because the messages around us are strong and they're telling us, go ahead and quit. Just give up on it. Don't listen to anybody's feedback. Be afraid, run, control, be angry, give up on your dreams. It's too late. It didn't work. Forget it. That's what everyone's telling you. So for us to stay focused on this message of endurance and of courage, we have to stay connected. So follow my Snapchat. I'm just one of many people, obviously, in your life. I know that. But follow my Snapchat at David Trigg LA, Twitter, David Trigg LA. Same thing on Instagram, David Trigg, or maybe it's David Trigg LA. You can just use David Trigg and find me in all these places. Facebook, of course, YouTube and Periscope, and all the stuff. And follow me so that we can build this relationship, so that you can stay in the flow. Because guess what? I'm going to want to quit in another week or 5 weeks or a year. This is a journey of life. This is not Moses coming down from the mountain with the 10 Commandments and saying, hey, all is well. This is me coming down from the mountain with the 10 Commandments, but the people are worshiping another God. And so I get mad and I break those things. And I have to go back up the mountain and get some new revelation. That's what this journey is like. And I guess maybe let me wrap up with one thing. You know, vulnerability is harder than it looks. I think over the last maybe 5 years that I've been online through my podcast, like I said, I had 5,000 or so subscribers, and then I began to do these videos and blah, blah, blah. People, more than anything, kept saying to me, Trigg, I don't know how you can be so vulnerable. It's scary. I wouldn't do it if I was you. But alongside of that, kind of the fine print, people would then write me private messages or would text me privately if they know me personally and would say, Trigg, thank you for being so vulnerable. Here's the thing. When I don't know if it's a fear that we have or if it's a church thing, if it's a brown thing, a white thing, I don't know. I don't think it has any race or boundaries. I think it's just human. When you get to a certain place in life, a position, or you become that mom, or you maybe fail at life, when you struggle in some area, it's human nature to hide. Adam and Eve hid from their maker. Only, weeks from being created. You would think they wouldn't hide from their God, right? But then they hid. So imagine how easy it is for you and me to hide. And even though Brené Brown has made vulnerability cool again, oh man, she's selling it, but no one's doing it. And so I want to be that person. I have a few friends. My friend Emily, shout out to Emily. She's a great example of this. Another advocate. She's a strictly mental health advocate. But for me, as a leader, as a husband, and as a person who has problems that I'm dealing with every day, like as I said, some of the things I've mentioned, and yet I have these dreams, and I have these songs that come out of my heart, and these passions that I know are from God, I want to be vulnerable and honest with you. Is it scary? Heck yes. Are some people going to turn off the channel because I'm not being just this amazing pastor or leader or always happy? Yes. Am I trying to connect with younger audiences because they want authenticity? I don't really care. I hope they do, only because I feel like we all need to be more authentic. My point is, I don't care about trying to connect with anyone in particular. This is a journey that God is calling me to be a part of and to invite you to be a part of. Now, what's the end game here? Why all this vulnerability? As I said, first and foremost, community. As I said on Sunday, comfort, oh comfort. That's why we need to be vulnerable, so that we can comfort each other. Speak, it says there, tenderly to Jerusalem. I want to be someone who speaks tenderly to your condition. Second, because I am convinced, this is through thousands and thousands of dollars and hours in therapy and magic pills and all the rest and spiritual therapy and spiritual counselors. I've done it all and continue to. I am convinced that on the other side of this monster that you may be facing, meaning the monster of hiding, of not wanting to talk about your issues of anger or pornography or lust or whatever it may be, mental health problems, on the other side of you, of that monster, is the gentle voice of Jesus. Are your dreams, are your goals for your life, for your family, for your church, for your own life. I have so much to share with you. I'm already sharing some of it, but I will save it for the podcast. So I want you to go to lifeofgospel.com/never quit. This is not about smoking. This is about never quitting at life. Not quitting at life. Who is this for? This is for a young person, an adult, or someone at the end of their lives who is thinking about quitting, who has thought about quitting, who is needing encouragement not to quit and to persevere. Who is this not for? This is not for people who got it all together, who think that being vulnerable or being honest with God or much less with people is for the weak, is for people who need to get their act together and then come online and talk about their success. This is not for you. But this is for people who have a dream and who have a calling from God. You don't have to be a Christian. You could be someone who is simply drawn to the honesty. Or you might be a nominal Christian or a nun or a dun. All of these things that people are dealing with today. If you are pursuing greatness, your dreams, but yet you're stuck, this is for you. I finished with a story of my father-in-law. Speaking of never quitting, I remember, maybe it's been 10 years ago. My wife and I had been married about 10 years. And I asked my father-in-law, I said, Dad, what is the number one characteristic that you look for in a young leader? I was maybe 5-6 years into ministry, wanting to change the world. I thought he would tell me great speaking, to have an amazing staff, to build the biggest church ever, to write books, to help their city and to be into social causes. I thought he would give me a list of all that stuff. He said none of the above, none of the like, none of that. You know what he said? You know what he said is the number one characteristic that he looks for in a young leader? He said, courage. Courage. Isn't that awesome? That has only become more and more clear in my head. And I am thankful for his words. This podcast is going to be about courage. How to help you be strong and courageous. Do not fear, as Joshua 1 says. Be strong and courageous. As I was with Moses, I will be with you. This is not going to be a rah-rah podcast. It's going to have honesty, but it's always going to have insights and scripture and prayer and community so that we never quit, because I'm convinced that God is doing something great in your life. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for my Facebook friends. So excited to have you. Ellen, Bobby, Taylor, wonderful to have you. I love all of you. You're my friends. Never quit, no matter what you're doing. Stay connected to this new tribe. Never give up. Go to lifeofgospel.com/never quit. sign up for my podcast. This first episode coming up in just a few hours going to be called Why Feedback is Good for You, or Why You Need Feedback in Your Life. So can't wait to talk to you about that. Thanks so much. I'm so excited. Everybody needs to go to Thousand Pines, to the mountains for a few days. It was beautiful to be there. By the way, check out my Instagram for all the pictures, my Snapchat, so you can see all that I did up there. It was a magical, magical time. Look for that bench, by the way, that I got to see up there. Thanks again, guys. I will see you next time. Adios!